Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce presents the Bowie Business Journal, a program designed to keep our community informed about important business and economic issues.
Hello, my name is Kelly Pierce. I'm the Executive Director for the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce, and I'd like to welcome you to this edition of the Bowie Business Journal, our monthly program that features local businesses, entrepreneurs, and nonprofits in the community. I have with me today the co-host of our show, also one of our board members for the Chamber, CJ Masterson with Meridian. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
And our guest today is Lisa Smith, who is the Executive Director for the Bowie Business Innovation Center. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And so we'll start with, that's a long title for a business, and then we'll backtrack from there. Explain to us what the Bowie Business Innovation Center is.
The Bowie Business Innovation Center, also familiarly called just the Bowie BIC, is a great program that's designed specifically to assist existing companies who'd like to accelerate their business growth. And so this is an initiative that grew out of a feasibility study that the city conducted and that I had the great pleasure to be part of. But this the Bowie BIC program is all about marshaling the resources that a company needs to grow faster than they could if they were just working at home in their basement, or they were perhaps even working at Panera, for example, because we provide the business counseling, the technical assistance, training, educational activities, promotional opportunities, all the kinds of things that companies need to grow. We also are able to introduce them to sources of capital for their businesses at the appropriate point in the development of the business. So we're really kind of a one-stop shop in that respect. And we're located at Bowie State University, and that's very much by design because we're in the Center for Business and Graduate Studies. And the Bowie BIC has, as you might imagine, because we're working to accelerate company growth and get companies to hire their first employee, we have an economic development mission, which is to increase the number of young businesses here in the Bowie community. Yeah, the second piece of our mission is to provide experiential learning opportunities for Bowie State University students. And so we actively look for ways to incorporate student workers and student assistants in the counseling that we're providing for our company, so that students get involved with marketing plan exercises, or our companies become guest speakers at actual classroom situations that are part of the business curriculum at the university. So we're that place that a company can go if they want to accelerate the growth of their business. We also have take very seriously our responsibility to help increase the general entrepreneurial environment in the city of Bowie. So we offer quite a number of programs that each month that are really for anyone in the community, not just those companies who are part of the Bowie BIC. Bowie BIC has currently 12 companies that are involved in its program. We have 4 of them are resident companies, and then the balance of them are what we call affiliate companies. And so we're always very focused on our own clients, but there are many, many things that we feel it's important to bring out in monthly programming activities all around technical issues of running a business, everything from the accounting and the legal, the marketing, and then this more specialized things of procurement for state and local governments and these kinds of things. So we try very hard to be relevant to the requirements of our companies. So
great.
Yeah. So how do you attract the companies that come in? Because it sounds like you provide a great service in building them up and giving them the pathway for growth. So it's almost a maturation process. But how do you get that one person with that idea in the door?
Well, that is one of the great challenges of any business incubation program, is identifying those client companies whose needs are really at the point where your programs can help them take off. So that's something we spend a lot of time with at Bowie BIC. So we're always very interested in promoting the workshops and things that we do. We also like to tell our story, like we're doing today, so that companies see us. But one of the great ways that we get companies interested in us is to work through what we call our referral partners, because I talked about, in general, the types of services that we provide, but the Bowie BIC staff itself is just 2 people. So we have a whole network of referral partners and counselors that work with us. So for example, in the course of a month, we would have the Small Business Technology Development Center counselor, the Procurement Technical Assistance Program counselor, on site working with us. They make referrals to us. We also work with a number of service providers here in the community, accountants, lawyers, HR folks, marketing professionals. As they encounter companies, bankers, as they encounter companies that could use our services, they put us in touch. So attracting companies a lot of times comes through our referral network. Of course, we're always out there promoting, so that we make sure that we get in front of companies at that point, and that's a tough thing to do. It really is. Particularly if you're a home-based business in the Bowie community, for example, and you're not out and about. So being visible at networking activities here in the community is important. That's one of the reasons that we joined the Chamber. I was talking to Kelly about this the other day, and I realized that one of the very first checks the Bowie BIC ever wrote was for our Chamber membership, because we needed to be connected in with the Chamber. But so I would say that promotion through websites, social media, working through our referral network that we're always building. We're always looking for new ways to get the message out, and participating in networking events. We even conduct our own networking events, and we're going to be doing more of that in 2014 too, where we actually bring people in to meet our companies and check out our operation.
So along with that, could you talk briefly about what that application process looks like if someone is interested and wants to go before the client selection committee?
Right. If you're an existing business, you've got maybe a client or two, you've got a little bit of revenue, you've realized that you need to accelerate the growth that you are planning for in your company, because nobody goes into business not to make money and grow.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're at that point where you're thinking, I've got 1 or 2 clients, I need a little extra firepower, that's when you contact us. Usually what happens is that companies will either email me, call me, stop by the office, meet us at a networking event, come through our referral partners, but it all starts with a conversation with me. And we sit down and I try and understand where is the company in their development and what are the kinds of things that they need. And if I feel that the Bowie BIC program, which is all about counseling and technical assistance and education, training, marketing, all these kinds of things, if I feel that there are things that we're doing that can be helpful, I will suggest that the company participate in one of our processes that we call a client selection committee meeting. So pretty much every month, our client selection committee meets, and they will hear from 2 or 3 companies who come in and make a 10-minute presentation about their company, about what they need, and then they sit and talk with us, and we try and assess, can we really add value? That's really important, because if we can't, then that's probably not going to be a good relationship on either side, and we're looking for good, successful relationships with our company so they grow. So it's an appointment and a conversation with me, and then a presentation to the client selection committee, which is a subset of our board with some other special folks that we bring in to assist us with that process, and then companies can join our program.
Great.
Tell us about a success story of one of your companies that's flourished.
One of our current residents is a company called Sage Services, which sounds very mild-mannered, but it's actually quite a fascinating company. And Sonia Hobson, the CEO, came to us in July of 2013, and she had an impressive background. She retired from NASA, and she had some connections there, certainly, but what she really wanted was to take a new direction. And she was very interested in doing less project management kind of activity and more work with educational, particularly entrepreneurial education activities. And so she suddenly found herself with both business that came from her connections from her old crew, I guess you could say, from a federal agency. She brought some of that work with her, and then she has subsequently, we've helped her identify, and then she's won some additional work. And so she now has close to 13 people that are part of her company working on different contracts that she has with county government and federal agencies, and that's just in 6 months. But she's worked very, very hard and been very, very focused about it. Right. But she's a good example. She just said, I need to get out of my house. I need to be in a professional environment, and so she came into the Bowie BIC, and so she is one of our resident clients. Oh. So that's a good one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. So so the BIC's been in existence now formally for 1.5 years.
That's right.
Which is really a short time when you think about how much has been accomplished.
It really is. We're still one of the youngest business incubation programs in the state of Maryland.
And there are 22 in the state?
There's 27 or so, depending on how you count it.
Right.
But we're unique in that we're one of only 2 that focuses on professional service firms. And I need to be real clear that we have certainly technology-based companies in our program, but the majority of our companies are professional service firms. They provide financial services, project management services, marketing services, communication services, IT services to some extent. But that makes us different because the state focuses very tightly on incubating companies in technology target areas for the state, like life science and cybersecurity and sustainable energy and software and IT and new media, and so we don't discriminate against those companies, but we are trying to fill a need that's very much here in the greater Bowie community. Having worked with business incubation programs for close to 15 years at this point, I know that the most successful programs respond to the needs of the communities that they serve. And the Bowie community is a fascinating one that is highly educated and is perfect for the kind of professional service firms that we're seeing in the Bowie BIC program. And so that's kind of how that shakes down for us.
Great. So let's move then into talking about this new partnership 1.5 years into the program,
right.
That's going to result in hopefully a lot of new clients and a lot of new programs.
I think so,
with the Women's Business Center.
And talking about partnerships, I always like to say that business incubation programs, like many things in life, are known by the company that they keep. And we've been very, very fortunate at the Bowie Business Innovation Center because we started out with a very real partnership and a financial partnership, both with the City of Bowie, through the mayor and council providing financial support for Bowie BIC, as well as council member Ingrid Turner, who is the county council member for the district where our incubator is physically located at Bowie State University. So we've been very fortunate to have their political and their financial support to get us started, and that's allowed us to also then attract some additional corporate clients, and we'll be continuing to build our corporate client base because they provide not only financial support, but they also become part of our network of service providers and our mentors and some of the really important added value things that we do for our company. So we've been really lucky to have that engagement and that partnership to get started. We also have strategic partners that we work with, such as the Greater Bowie Chamber. They're an important strategic partner for us. The counseling that we offer in the Bowie BIC that comes through our partnerships with the Small Business Technology Development Center and the Procurement Technical Assistance Program, the PTAP program. And we've now, and we announced this back in November, that starting in 2014, we'll be bringing in a new strategic partner, which is the Maryland Women's Business Center. And the Maryland Women's Business Center, which was originally established in Montgomery County, they are through a Small Business Administration grant that they were awarded in the fall of 2013. They are now in a position to begin to expand. And I'm so pleased that their first expansion in Maryland will be to Prince George's County, and they'll be offering their Maryland Women's Business programming at the Bowie BIC starting this month. And you know, it's important to note too that it's not just women that they counsel. Their programming is available for anyone who's interested, but they tend to focus on the startup mode for businesses, where Bowie BIC is working with young existing businesses. So we get kind of a continuum of service here now, where companies could be working with them as they grow. The Bowie BIC becomes the logical place for them to make their next step or to take advantage of our programs. So now in 2014, we'll have some of the early stage programming that the Maryland Women's Business Center will be providing, and that will integrate nicely with the programming that we are already offering for existing companies. And so we'll have, for example, now 2 Maryland Women's Business Center training programs each month. They'll be offered at the Bowie BIC. We will continue to offer our monthly lunch and learn programs at Bowie BIC, and we'll continue to have what we call individual business clinics, where we have open door sessions with professional service providers in accounting and sales and marketing. And we'll add Women's Business Center programming to that, and we also have done an entrepreneurship session. So we'll continue to do those things, but we've now got a calendar that will really meet the needs of 2 very important groups that will be able to take advantage of the whole program at the Bowie Business Innovation Center. So that's our brand new strategic partnership that we're quite excited to see happening.
Well, it sounds like you have to expand your space. Is there room for expansion at the?
Actually, I would love to be able to attract another 5 companies that would be interested in being resident in the Bowie BIC space, because we have a great operation there, but I do still have some office space available for companies. And the trick to that, CJ, is that the companies that come into our program, they come into us for the mentoring and the counseling that they're going to receive. The office space is a piece of that whole package. Right. So the companies, we're not competing with the commercial real estate market by any means. Right. In fact, we hope that because some of those organizations are becoming strategic partners with us, we hope that as our companies mature and graduate and leave us, because a business incubation program is a transition for a company. It's maybe 2 years. Mm-hmm. And by that point, they've either gotten enough clients that they've outgrown you because they've hired staff, and you know, our offices are set up for 1 and 2 users. So you know, the goal here is not to keep them with us and keep them close. I mean, we're successful when they graduate, which is kind of sad in a way, but that's the way that the program is designed to really generate that economic impact that we talked about at the beginning, of getting new companies strong and then out into the community. So we have a little room still. We really do. Yeah.
Yeah. The room for the resident businesses is limited to how many office spaces, but the space for affiliate members is
who are
endless. Who
right.
are non-residents is endless. Anyone who wants to join and still take advantage of those programs and not have office space and a different relationship, but still have access to all the.
And it has happened, and that's partly by design too, that a company comes in and says, you know, I just at the point where I don't have existing business, I want to get some new business. They work with us, and then they say, I want to make the transition from being a virtual client, in a sense, non-resident, into our one of our offices, and then they're in with all the things that we do, because we do special programs specifically for just our incubation companies. You know, we have monthly coffee breaks for them. There's certain training programs that we can offer. We get a little bit of money from Maryland TEDCO, the Technology Development Corporation, to do really targeted activities for our client companies. So they do get some special consideration and some
So there
advantages.
are programs for client companies, and then there are programs that are open to the community at
right.
large, and students and professors at the university.
That's correct, yeah.
To work with. Good. Can you talk a little bit, it's very interesting to me, the whole subject of how did you get involved in this? How did you discover the world of business incubators?
Well, it actually grew out of more than 15 years of economic development project work, which always seemed to end up with how do you drive business and innovation in communities? And so that led me into working with feasibility studies for business incubation programs, assessments for new types of capital in a community, angel capital networks, for example, or how to bring seed capital in, or how to access these types of early stage kind of dollars that are so important for these young and existing companies to kind of get some traction. So it came out of my economic development work, and the feasibility study piece of it led me to work a lot in Maryland, and I think that I've done 12 or 13 feasibility studies just here in the state of Maryland in the course of my economic development work before I came to Bowie-Bick. And it was doing a feasibility study for Bowie-Bick that led me to be offered the opportunity to be the director and the first director of the Bowie-Bick program, which has been really quite a rewarding experience all the way around, because as you know here, with your chamber connections, this is a very exciting time to be not only in the city of Bowie, but also in Prince George's County, because there's a great sense of things ready to happen, people wanting them to happen, and working toward that. I think that that's one of the things that probably keeps incubation managers, as crazy as our days can be sometimes. It's that sense of making a difference and seeing that difference. And that's one of the reasons that business incubation programs are such a good and now an accepted economic development tool for communities, because in today's day and age, it's really hard to bring in a huge business anymore. Your growth tends to come from the growth of your existing companies, and now this appreciation for growing your own, which is what we're doing here in the city of Bowie. It just takes a little bit longer. It takes a couple of years to kind of get to that point, but we're doing that,
and we're young and we're growing and we're learning as we go, and some processes have changed and evolved over the last year and a half.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, the mayor and council, for example, have been wonderful strategic partners for the Bowie-Bick, both by providing political support as well as to provide financial support for the Bowie-Bick. Similarly, Ingrid Turner, who is the Prince George's County Council member whose district includes the Bowie Business Innovation Center, through her office we've been able to receive some financial support from the county for the Bowie-Bick. So those two sources of public sector dollars really helped Bowie-Bick in the first couple of years of its operation. We're now moving beyond that to increase the number of corporate sponsors who work with us, and it's also very important for us to have a range of other types of partners too. For example, we have strategic partners that help us with promotion, such as the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce. We also have counseling partners that work with us, such as the Small Business Technology Development Center, the Procurement Technical Assistance Program, the PTEP folks, and now we have a new resource, which is the Maryland Women's Business Center, whose programming will begin being offered at Bowie-Bick in January of 2014. And that's going to be great for us because it will provide additional counseling opportunities as well as some training programs that are pegged to early stage companies, whereas the Bowie-Bick program is for existing companies. So we begin to get a continuum of service and a continuum of value that the Bowie-Bick can provide to the client companies that are part of it. So I think that's going to really be great for us
So great things ahead for the Bowie Business Innovation Center.
Great things ahead.
Keep growing and moving forward and helping businesses to get established and grow in this community.
Right, because a business incubation program has to keep a very tight focus on business. And so, we work with professional service firms, as I said, and we're very lucky because, as a 501c3 organization, we have our own independent board of directors, and they're all business people. And that really helps us a lot. And because we need that connection to the market, connection to customers, connection to making payroll. That's very, very important, both for me as the executive to have that sort of counsel from my board, but also it helps because that perspective is sort of reverberates through all the programs to be sure they really add value and they really are business centric.
That's great. Well, as the chair of the new member committee for the chamber, I look forward to your graduates graduating and joining the chamber.
CJ, that's a very, very good point, because the reason that the Bowie BIC was so interested in becoming a chamber member was really to give us access to this vibrant Bowie business community, because we saw that there would be potential clients for us out of the chamber membership. We also knew that the chamber membership would provide us with service providers that would provide much needed counseling opportunities for our companies, as well as to be resources for us. So the chamber was really very important to the Bowie BIC and its evolution, and I hope the success that we hope to be able to continue to report on over the coming years.
Great. Well, thank you very much for being with us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, be sure to share with your members that the Chamber will have their annual holiday mixer at the Woodmore Country Club Tuesday, January 14th from 5:30 to 8:30. It's our annual fundraiser for local charities in the community, the Bowie Leadership, and the women's program. That'll be this next week, I believe.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
And it's also a lot of fun. We know that already. So,
Absolutely,
yeah,
it's a great time.
Definitely worth doing.
Also, then another good thing, there's tax season is coming, and we're having our annual business workshop. The focus will be on tax preparation for business. It'll be hosted by David Wolf, one of our board members, as well as Miss Riviera. I don't want to butcher her first name. And wrapping up on Wednesday, January the 29th of 2000, will be our State of the City address from our Honorable Mayor Fred Robinson, which is a better time to come hear him speak. Promise you.
No, that's a must-do on my calendar each year. That's not only is it great to get right from the mayor what's really happening, but the networking is fabulous. So
Absolutely.
I'm always there.
Well, thank you both for being with us today, and we need to wrap up. So I thank you for joining us for the Bowie Business Journal, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next month.